tutorial is meant for those who prepare for CA. Others like ISC, CBSE and those who face competitive examinations shall also use it to their advantage. This is going to be published in several parts. So keep visiting my channel. Now the questions. Demand for a commodity refers to options. A. Desire backed by ability to pay for the commodity. B. Need for the commodity and willingness to pay for it. C. The quantity demanded of that commodity at a certain price. D. The quantity of the commodity demanded at a certain price during any particular period of time. When we define demand, there must be a reference about quantity, price and time. These three references are there in option D. Quantity of the commodity demanded at a certain price and during any particular period of time. So option D is the correct answer. Next question. Contraction of demand is the result of options. A. Decrease in the number of consumers. B. Increase in the price of the good concerned. C. Increase in the prices of other goods. D. Decrease in the income of the purchasers. Look at this graph. As the price increases from P to P1, demand contracts from M1 to M. Increase in price causes contraction in demand. The correct option is B. Next question. All but one of the following are assumed to remain the same while drawing an individual's demand curve for a commodity. Which one is it? Options. A. Preference of the individual. B. His monetary income. C. Price of the commodity. D. Price of related goods. Price demand is about the relation between price and demand. Look at this graph. Demand curve is drawn with reference to price. So, option C must be your choice. All the other three, the preference of the individual, his monetary income, price of related goods are assumed to be constant. Next question. Which of the following pairs of goods is an example of substitutes? Options. A. Tea and sugar. B. Tea and coffee. C. Pen and ink. D. Shirt and trousers. Tea and sugar, pen and ink, shirt and trousers are to be used one along with the other. They are all complementary goods, but a consumer can take tea instead of coffee or coffee instead of tea. The pair tea and coffee is the perfect example of substitutes. B is the correct option. Next question. In the case of a straight line demand curve meeting the two axes, the price elasticity of demand at the midpoint of the line would be options. A. 0, B. 1, C. 1.5, D. 2. Look at this graph. A straight line demand curve meeting the two axes is shown in it. In a straight line demand curve, elasticity of demand at the midpoint of the demand curve is always equal to 1. Option B is correct. Next question. The law of demand, assuming other things to remain constant, establishes the relationship between options. A. income of the consumer and the quantity of a good demanded by him. B. Price of a good and the quantity demanded. C. Price of a good and the demand for its substitute. D. Quantity demanded of a good and the relative prices of its complementary goods. Already we have answered a similar question. Yes, this is the question. Always keep in your mind, questions may be framed differently, but the answer is the same. So, whatever you learn, learn with perfect understanding. That will help you a lot. Now we shall see the answer for this question. Option B is the correct answer. Assuming other things to remain constant, law of demand establishes the relationship between price of a good and the quantity demanded. Next question. Identify the factor which generally keeps the price elasticity of demand for a good low. Options. A. Variety of uses for that good. B. Very low price of a commodity. C. Close substitutes for that good. D. High proportion of the consumer's income spent on it. Price elasticity of demand for a good low means relatively inelastic demand or elasticity of demand less than 1. Generally speaking, low-priced goods have relatively inelastic demand. It is because expenditure on low-priced goods form only a very insignificant proportion of consumers' income. Even if the price change is much, the consumers continue to buy more or less the same quantity. Hence, low-priced goods have relatively inelastic demand. Option B is the correct answer. Next question. Identify the coefficient of price elasticity of demand when the percentage increase in the quantity of a good demanded is smaller than the percentage fall in price. Options. A equal to 1, B greater than 1, C less than 1, D 0. Here the coefficient of price elasticity of demand is less than 1. How? Just use an imaginary example. The formula for calculating the coefficient of price elasticity of demand is percentage change in quantity demanded by percentage change in price. In the question, the percentage change in quantity demanded is less. We shall have it as 5%. The percentage change in price is more. We shall have it as 10%. Then 5% by 10%, 0.5 less than 1. So the correct answer is option C. Next question. In the case of an inferior good, the income elasticity of demand is options. A positive, B 0, C negative, D infinite. The income elasticity of demand of an inferior good is negative. Why? Look at this graph. Consumers normally buy quality good and inferior good. When their income is more, their ability to buy quality good is high. They decide to spend more on quality good and less on inferior good. So, at high income, they buy less quantity of inferior good. When their income is low, their ability to buy quality good is less. So, they decide to spend less on quality good and more on inferior good. So, at low income, consumers buy more quantity of inferior good. Hence, The income demand of an inferior good slopes downward from left to right. The negative slope shows negative income elasticity. So option C is correct. Next question. If the demand for a good is inelastic, an increase in its price will cause the total expenditure of the consumers on the good to options A. Remain the same, B. Increase, C. Decrease, D. Any of these. Look at this table. It illustrates total expenditure method of measuring price elasticity. As the price increases from 5 rupees to 10 rupees, the quantity demanded falls from 10 units to 8 units. At 5 rupees, consumers buy 10 units by spending 50 rupees. At 10 rupees, consumers buy 8 units. They spend 80 rupees. It is more than 50 rupees. The demand schedule part of the table satisfies the law of demand. There is negative relation between price and quantity. But observe the relation between price and total expenditure. There is positive relation between price and total expenditure. According to total outlay method, if there is positive relation between price and total expenditure, the good is said to have relatively inelastic demand. If the demand for a good is inelastic, an increase in its price will cause the total expenditure of the consumers on the good to increase. So, option B must be your chosen answer. With this session ends. We shall meet in the next video lesson.